reel.
Folks, welcome to the show. Donny Mac, Hunt, Fish, Cook. We're way out in the Gulf of Mexico. I'm talking 100 miles out in the Gulf of Mexico. And we've come for something that's on the other end of this line that's taken out how much, Joe?
600 yards of line.
600 yards of line. It is extremely large, and we're extremely happy at the moment. Now, we got a ways to go before this thing actually shows up at our back door here. Don't go anywhere.
And the water to the kitchen and the table. It's Hunt, Fish, Cook with your hosts, Scott Laceth, the sporting chef, and Donny McElvoy, one of the Southeast's favorite outdoorsmen. Stay with us. Hunt, Fish, Cook will be right back.
Good job, James.
James is resting. I'm resting. Oh, hello. Take a line, Joe.
Folks, welcome back to Hunt, Fish, Cook. We're in the Gulf of Mexico, way down in Mexico, or Gulf of Mexico. I've got Dr. Joe Aiken, I've got the wild man, Joe Aiken, and the man over here with a big problem on his hands,
A lot of reeling.
James Gossett. We have got an extremely large fish hooked up. We've been after him all week, planning this whole trip. The Aikens have been good enough to have us put up here on the Dr. J. We're having a blast. We've got, there's three Joes on the boat. There's Captain Joe, Dr. Joe, Tony Joe, and Mojo over here has got all kinds of stuff. It is a marlin and a large one. Let's see what happens.
I don't think I'll have a problem sleeping tonight.
Oh, I saw him myself. Yeah. I'm hoping he'll do it again. As I said, we're on board the Dr. J out of Orange Beach. The Dr. J is a 52-foot, state-of-the-art Viking sport fishing yacht. What a pleasure to fish on. Now, the word on the coast is that the Gulf is experiencing the best season for blue and white marlin in years.
We got us a big blue marlin. We're all happy.
Not to mention huge numbers of tuna, dolphin, and wahoo. Now, we've had a banner day with plenty of big fish put in the boat.
That's our third marlin within the hour. Wow.
In fact, we were just about to call it a day when this big blue marlin hooked up.
Yeah, it was. To see the
About
sunset,
2 minutes
he just wants
later,
to see
he
a
jumped.
fish. Well, he finally gets to see one. The fish bit right at sundown. I mean, within 1 to 2 minutes, we were taking pictures of the sun setting, and as we had our cameras out on sun going down, all of a sudden the center outrigger pops, and the line goes crazy, the reel's screaming, and the fish jumps out, and it's a big blue marlin. That's all we know. I hope he can land the fish. The battle's not over yet.
Now, let me explain to you about James. I'm just kidding.
Let's don't do that. I got enough weight on the end of the line as it is.
James Gossett is a tremendous bass fisherman. Inshore, freshwater guy. Is this your first big marlin?
Yeah, that's the first big fish I've ever.
Well, it's my first big marlin, so don't you lose this fish. We're extremely.
Thank you for that.
You got a lot of things riding on the line right here, James. Just get back and concentrate. We're gonna go over here. You're gaining on him, James.
I think he's just playing with me right now. That's what I think. Oh, now we got some weight to it.
All right, so you think this fish is gonna dig?
Fish is gonna be. Yes, absolutely. You look at the angle of the line. I mean, their typical tactic is they fight on the surface at first. When things get tough, they go deep. And last ditch effort, he could come up and come all in the boat. I'm worried based on the size of what he was. I still don't think he's totally whipped. I'm a I mean, as far as just trying to get him up here in the boat, but James is working on it.
We're working.
James is doing it.
He's willing it down.
James is working it.
We got a little line back there.
Now you would think with a body of water as big as the Gulf of Mexico, how on earth would you ever find one of these big fish? Earlier in the day, I asked Joe, where do you hunt for these big fish in this big body of water?
Now, let's talk about rips. Now, you guys look for rips, weed lines, and why do you do that?
Well, what you've got is you've got two bodies of water here. The current is running one direction, and on the other side of the weeds, the water may be moving the other way, but it's where the two bodies are meeting, and it pushes the weeds together and forms a weed line.
Right.
The bait fish get under the weeds, and then the rest of the big fish come in there to feed on them. So where do you hit the weed lines and you get what we call a rip? It's really a productive place to fish, and that's what we've got. The wind this morning kind of knocked the weed line out and scattered it, but now the current's running a little harder, and the weeds are pulling back together, and it's starting to form. You can see the grass over here. It's looking good. We've had 2 hits on the dolphin, but I think the weed line's going to pull back together and ought to give us a good place to fish.
If you stay around Joe Aiken long, you're going to get charged up and excited. He is the ultimate sportsman cheerleader. Not to mention he knows what he's talking about. When he says this looks good, best put your seatbelt on.
Am I sweating yet?
Oh, you look great,
Oh, I
Johnny.
know. My kids are gonna love this.
But we can get him in.
72 days later, we're still fighting it.
Yeah.
He's going to the left.
Well, apparently it's going to be a few more moments before we know who wins this tug of war. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hunt Fish Overstock has unbeatable deals on name brand hunting, fishing, camping, and cooking gear. Ridiculously low prices on ammo, tents, knives, cookware, decoys, archery equipment, game calls, optics, targets, throwers, and shooting accessories. Pair our prices to any outdoor retailer anywhere. HuntFishOverstock.com. We'll get you there with all your gear for a lot less.
You know, I never know how my day is going to end. But I always know how my day is going to begin. Wolverine, boots, shoes, apparel, and gear. Relentless by nature.
The Bradley propane smoker runs on batteries, so I can set it up easily most anywhere. I no longer have to go to town to satisfy my sophisticated palate. Only problem is, I do get a little lonely. Well, if you like that, you're gonna love my apple smoked clam tenderloin with a mint sauce and a rice pilaf. Marvelous with the Merlot. So, from around here.
Welcome back to Hunt, Fish, Cook. James Gossett has been in the fighting chair for nearly 2 hours, and it looks as if success is in hand, or at the end of this leader.
Whoa, what a beautiful fish. There you go, boys! Absolutely!
release in 30 seconds.
Yeah, we better get him back in the water.
Yeah.
James!
Thank you.
Good job, guys.
Now that's not bad for an afternoon.
In fact, I'd call that next to perfect. Clean hook release. The big blue marlin measured from its lower jaw to the crook in its tail, 111 inches, and a clean release.